Hey guys, we are back with Katekyo, and if you didn't know, I tried to do this video back on Monday, and I accidentally deleted the video. I was ready to prepare, and could have been, oh, do it again. No, I was done for the entire day after that, because I was going to get prepared to try and edit the video a little bit and then put it up. Couldn't find the video nowhere. It was not backed up on anything, and I was hurt. I was hurt. I was sitting here like, there's no way. There is no way, bro. I deleted the video completely, accidentally too. Because I was trying to clean up my files and everything, and that also was part of it. And that sucks. Okay, so going back from chapter 96, at the end we now started with the second scramble battle for the half rings. Okay, and this is also the Varia arc as well. So the Vongola side, well, all of them are Vongola, but our current 10th generation, soon to be 10th generation, won the first round with Ryohei versus Lusaria. And honestly, we know Lusaria, once he lost, we saw him get anxious and everything, and he got, you know what, let me not even say it like that, because that would have came out so wrong. But they basically shot him down, okay, and then they took him out the ring. So Ryohei won that fight, and he got the half ring for the sun ring. Right now it is the second fight with Lambo versus Levi. Okay, remember when the Varia first came to Japan, the first one of the second, at least actually, Varia members that they met other than Squalo was Levi. And when Levi came with Mammon, he tracked down Lambo the first time and was about to eliminate him if Suna, Gokudera, Yamamoto, and Ryohei did not come to protect him, as well as Ipin and can't remember his name right now. Okay, but they came to protect the kids. So now they're facing against each other for the second time. Obviously, also, Suna was very worried, as we know from chapter 96. He was very worried because obviously Lambo, being the youngest guardian throughout all the 7 guardians in Suna's group, he's only 5. Okay, originally from the Bovino family, was sent originally to Japan to assassinate Reborn, who is known as one of the best, if not the best, hitman there is. And Lambo failed every single time. Eventually, now he is part of the Vongola once they transferred him to the family and everything from the Bovino family. So Suna's been very worried ever since they made the announcement that Lambo is going to enter the fight. So when they went to the school that same midnight, the second day now, they saw on the rooftop there is an arena which has, it's almost staged like the first battle, but there are pillars, or what they call it, rods, and they call those rods the electrical circuito, or electric circuits. So what it does is conducting lightning, okay, to the rods or the pillars, and then it goes across the whole floor, the arena. Okay, so anybody that steps on it can get electrocuted at any time randomly, okay, and they can die. So before Lambo goes into the arena, and mind you, Levi arrived to the battle 2 hours beforehand, and it's very ridiculous, because it's not like he's fighting one of the older members of Suna's group. Okay, he's facing a 5-year-old, and it's to impress Zanzis. And I'm like, bro, you're being too eager right now. You're facing a 5-year-old, knowing that no matter how ridiculous the world of Katekyo is, at the end of the day, they're still a little kid. They just came into the world yesterday. They're not that much of a threat. I mean, Lambo might be a threat because he throws dynamite. No, not he throws bombs, grenades. He got a whole bazooka. He may be different. He may be different. But before he goes there, everybody they circled together, they did their little chair. Suna's also reminding Lambo, like, I know this whole ordeal may be very scary, and if you don't want to do this, we're not forcing you. You do not have to do this because this is very terrifying. This is very scary for you, even for me. Okay? And that moment just showed like the caring. I mean, even though he says, you know, Lambo's annoying many of the times and all that, being obnoxious and loud and just all over the place and everything, Suna does care for the younger Lambo. Okay, and also he was talking to his 10-year future self or the 15-year-old self the night prior, telling him what's happening and like how originally instead of 5-year-old, 15-year-old should go into the fight, but 15-year-old's like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go into this fight. I don't want to die. I don't like death. I don't like to be hurt or anything. So Lambo now currently is telling Suna before he steps into the arena, he's like, Suna, I got this. You know what that reminded me of? That little boy that's like, Linda. And I'm like, little kids, no matter the age of the time, where do they get this confidence from? Okay, so he steps into the arena. The match has finally started, and just before they can get to fighting, lightning strikes the rods, and immediately Lambo is struck by it. Okay, we don't see Levy being struck by it, but he's struck, and everybody's panicking. Everybody's shouting like, Lambo, are you okay? Are you okay? He gets up perfectly. I mean, his hair is more poofier than ever, but he's fine. He gets up and he's like, it hurts. Tolerate. Because everybody thinking he's dead. He like the only other person in a young age group who's capable of handling that much electricity, well, now lightning and everything. The only character that's coming to mind for me is Killua, because we know Killua and Killua's family, he has been trained, because due to him being an assassin, I'm trying to wait, but due to him being an assassin, right, from the Zoldyck family, they trained him to withstand many poisons, as well as being electrocuted by how much volts of lightning, electricity, right? So Reborn explains to Suna and everybody that the skill or the skin that the clothing that Lambo is wearing, the skin that he has, is called Electrico Q. Excuse me, it's Italian, so I may be butchering the names. Please excuse me. But he explains it as it is a type of skin that is a good conductor of electricity. Even if he's hit by lightning, the electricity will travel through only his skin and discharge into the ground and prevent any damage to the brain or any other internal organs. And he explains what, you know, the lightning guardian or the thunder guardian, it does. He must not only take the lightning, but also the damage to the family like a lightning rod. That's the role of the thunder guardian. So like the sun guardian, they take any attacks and become the shield, kind of similar to basically the lightning, but it's, I guess one is much more harsher in the offense than the other. And the sun guardian also kind of like, it's very healing towards everyone. Okay, so that's impressive on Lambo's side, because everybody always assumes that, you know, Lambo being the kid, it was already impressive for him with the 10-year bazooka, which switches the current self with their 10-year self. But the fact that he can take damage from electricity, from lightning, and it doesn't do any damage, it's pretty impressive for a little 5-year-old. But not that impressive to Levy, because remember, at the end of the day, he's doing this to impress Zanzis. He does his work with 100% perfectionism. He's always on time. He executes whatever mission, and he doesn't like anyone upstaging him, let alone a little 5-year-old, okay, who has snot dripping down his nose. So you know what he does? Because he doesn't like the fact that all the attention is going to Lambo, and the fact that Zanzas may hear word of it, he high punts the living daylights out of Lambo, okay, beating him up. And Lambo can't protect himself. Again, he is 5 years old. So before he can land another blow, Lambo is crying everything. He whips out of his afro the 10-year bazooka and shoots himself before Levy can hit him again with another attack. Now this time around, his 15-year-old self is in the battle. And he was coming from the future eating dumplings, and he's like, yo, from my last dinner, the last supper, before I die, I just had dumplings. Okay, his last supper. Might I add, few chapters ago, and they showed Suna's dad Imitsu gave Suna these type of horns that I described in the last chapter, the chapter before. They look pretty old and everything, and Lambo, 15-year-old Lambo is about to use these horns. Okay, he attached them onto the side of his head, and he calls this attack once he gets struck by the lightning again. Okay, but now because he's 15 years old, his body is adapting even more, so he can conduct even more lightning, or store the lightning even more in his body, and he calls the ability Electrico Cornata, and he's about to charge a Levy, but Levy managed to hit him with the type of spiky rods that he has. He always has attached to his back on some type of spine thing. I don't know what they're called. If you do know what those weapons that Levy carries around is called, please do tell me in the comment section below. But what they do is once he shoots him out, they open up as umbrellas. They also take in lightning, and what they're supposed to do is stay in the air, conduct the lightning, and then hit the target. So that's even more strength. Okay, so they act as conductors to make the precision of the lightning even stronger from where it came from, the source, can't come through the umbrellas and then hit the target. And even though we are dealing with a 15-year-old Lambo who is obviously older, more mature in his body and everything, and he's able to take way more damage than his 5-year-old self, even this attack by Levy was still too much for his body. So now he's hurt, and then he got struck by one of these umbrellas in the shoulder. Again, he's saying tolerate, tolerate, tolerate. And this makes me think, every time Lambo says tolerate, 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 might I add, what Reborn said a few pages up, saying that with Lambo, when he's still 5 years old, and him being able to take all the electricity into his body without any damage to his organs, and they explain saying that he's been experimented on this from a very young age. And that's why I relate him to Killua, because they subjugated these little kids to these various forms of torture, okay, for their bodies to be able to handle it, even though it's something that can actually kill them. Okay, so a lot of people may look down on Lambo because, you know, he's a little kid and everything, but the fact that he's able to withstand that amount of power that lightning has, it's enough to either paralyze someone or kill them on one strike. And the fact that Lambo has been subjugated to this type of experimentation on his body, even younger than what he is currently, they never gave what age, just shows how capable Lambo is, and his potential is crazy. His body is a powerhouse, if you will. Now, do they show him? Yes, they show like he can do electricity, conduct electricity through the horns, and then shoot it out towards someone, or use himself like a lightning bolt towards someone. So 15-year-old has been hit offensively by Levy, and now he's crying. Mind you, whenever Lambo uses the 10-year bazooka, he shoots himself. Usually the bazooka cannon, it disappears along with him until he comes back in the present time. But when he switched places with himself, with his 10-year self, he left it on the ground. So that's how 15-year-old Lambo was able to get it, and then he, to his face, and then he shoots himself again. And then by the end of the chapter, everybody's wondering what's happening, where did he go? We have this new and improved version of Lambo, because everybody, once they realized, once 15-year-old shot himself, everybody felt a change in the atmosphere. It became more dense. It felt like overwhelming power was before them. Okay, soon, and everybody's just like, who is that? And it ends off on one of the coolest panels you'll ever see. You're now dealing with 20 years in the future Lambo. Age 25. And that's it of chapter 97. Now, what I think about that, to explain, And I think everybody, if you kept up to date or you reread the series or rewatched it, they did explain the first time we were introduced to Lambo and with the 10-year bazooka, there is a time limit, okay? When Lambo first shoots himself, he only has 5 minutes before he comes back to the present time. Once he switches with his 10-year future self, he only has 5 minutes and then he comes back, right? But now the fact that in this particular fight, not only did Lambo shoot himself once to replace his 5-year-old self with his 15-year-old self, but now he shot himself twice, with the 15-year-old now being replaced with the 25-year-old, right? So that means every time you shoot yourself with a 10-year cannon, you're cutting your time in half. And you might say that's a spoiler, but think about it. Like, he shot himself once, he only has 5 minutes. Now that has to be cut in half. He can't stay, and not only that, that may end up ruining the timeline that they're on. Okay, it can mess up a lot of things because it's time paradox and you don't mess with time. Okay, but nonetheless, it's so damn cool to see your future self 20. I mean, then again, anything can happen, but just knowing that you can see a version of yourself in the current time you're in, okay, or at least everybody else can see who you are 10, 20, 30 years from now, you know, and how you look, how you act and everything is crazy, okay? But I can't wait for you guys to see what 20 years Lambo can do, because bro, he's ridiculous. He is ridiculous, and I forgot how amazing he actually is. Like, if you thought 15-year-old Lambo was cool, now 20-year Lambo, 25-year-old Lambo is something else, okay? So guys, do tell me in the comment section below on how you felt about chapter 97 of Katekyo Hitman REBORN. What were some things you took away from it? Understanding the logics of the 10-year bazooka. What are your hopes for 20-year-old or 20-year or 25-year-old Lambo and what he is capable of doing, especially for those who are first time reading and or first time watching? How do you feel about this new Lambo that just appeared? Okay, and how do you think this second match is going to end up? Please do leave your comments down below. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends, and I will see you guys later. Bye!